Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the new Bayern pack on eFootball. I'm also going to take a look at the Sacha Boey card and the point store and the 4 position change cards. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description for each player, so if you want to hear about a particular player, click in the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So let's start with our manager, and we've got Vincent Kompany. So Kompany is a possession manager. I know there are people who think that some of these other numbers make a difference, but until someone proves that, I don't agree. I've not noticed that myself. So as far as I'm concerned, this is just a possession manager. If that's your playing style, it might be a good manager for you. If you're farming 200% on 5-star players, and then the 2 attributes you get boosted because this is a double booster manager. While we acceleration and kicking back up by 1. I've said it before. I don't think that's anything to get excited about. It's a minor difference. Sure, it's nice to have a couple of attributes up by 1, but essentially, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a possession manager. So if you like if possessions are your playing style, you don't have a manager with maximum proficiency for possession, then this manager might appeal to you. But that's about it, really. Just a possession manager, as far as I'm concerned. So we'll go through the players now, and let's start with our goalie and work our way up the pitch. So we'll start with Manuel Neuer. And Neuer, you know what to expect from Neuer. All these players are going to have base guns, aren't they? It's a pretty bog standard Neuer card. It's always going to be a good goalie, but the big kind of downside with Neuer is that he obviously goes walkabout. He loves drifting out of his goal. He thinks he's a sweeper, and you are going to be at risk of getting lobbed. So that's something to always keep in mind with Neuer, even with the better Neuer cards. He's got low punt, long throw, penalty saver, captaincy, good slashing skills for a keeper. We'll jump over to eFootball Hub. We'll have a look at his actual stats, how good they get. So we'll max him out, all boosted up. As you expect, he's a pretty good goalie. The awareness, the reflex, and reach are all good. He's a big, tall guy, 6'4", 94 reach. So he's got great coverage of his goal. He is a very good shot stopper, but the catching and parrying are a little bit iffy. And this is not a particularly great version of Neuer. There's not a huge difference between all the different versions. If you kind of look at them all from the highest rated to the lowest, it's not a big difference. You know, a few points different here and there, but essentially, you always get the same thing, that those 3 attributes are always higher, and then the catching and parrying not so high. Very similar to the Champions League Player of the Week cards and a few other versions of him, and having a few that's slightly better. One from a previous Bayern pack quite a while ago is the highest rated one, but even that one is not that much better. So yeah, if you've already got a good Neuer card, you don't need this one. There's not really, like I say, it's pretty much on a par with the lowest rated ones really, but most of them are around this level. It's just there's a few that's slightly better. I'm not sure I would do much in terms of tweaking the points. I'll probably just do that. For the last point on passing to get his reflexes up by 1, because we don't need jumping. We know that from Player of the Week. So yeah, if you don't have a good version of Neuer, it's a good one. But to be honest, the vast majority of us have got that free one from the Tsubasa campaign, and this one's virtually identical. So if you're one of the 99-point-something% of the player base who've already got the Tsubasa card, you don't need this Neuer card. But if for some reason you don't already have a good version of Neuer and you didn't get the Tsubasa one, it's a solid one. He's a good goalkeeper. He just likes to go walkabout, so keep that in mind. But yeah, not a particularly exciting version of Neuer this, but it's still a good goalie. So on to outfield players now. We'll start with our defenders. So first we've got Hiroki Ito, who has hardly played from so far because of injury. We've got a build-up centre-back. He's a lefty. He's got a face scan, obviously. He's got unwavering form. He's on B form. I guess he's back from injury now. Pretty good slashing skills there. 1 or 2 missing. What's he missing? Sliding tackle, fighting spirit, heading. I think that's about it, really. He's got long range shooting and through passing. Nice for a centre back. So let's jump over to eFootball Hub, see how good this Ito card is. We've not had too many versions of this guy. So pretty maxed out, boosted. Kind of solid, not amazing. As you'd expect from a guy who's played quite a lot as a left back, he's decent on the ball for a centre back. He's not that great defensively and physically. He's slightly lacking. But he's pretty solid on the whole, though. We've had a couple of previous versions of him. So there's one that was in a new transfers pack when he joined Bayern. That one was actually a left back, and he had the defensive fullback playing style. If he trained that one as a centre back, it was a bit better than this one. It didn't have as much pace as this one, but the defensives and physicals were a bit higher. So as a centre back, that previous one from a new transfers pack was a bit better than this one, but you needed to give it a few skills though. As a left back, if you train that card as a left back, and if you train this one as a left back, which I'll do now, pretty similar. That new transfers pack, the card from that pack was pretty similar. Some of the stats shuffled around a bit, but on the whole, around about the same level it is this one. and there's one other version of it that's in some kind of legend pack. That was a centre-back build-up like this one. Again, a lot less pace on that one. Also less balance and stamina, but elsewhere similar. So just with the pace, balance and stamina, really, this one's a bit better than that one as a centre-back. So yeah, but I will just look at him as a left-back first, because I don't think he's great as a left-back. He's got some qualities. I think if you like a defensive fullback, he could be interesting. But that acceleration's a bit iffy. The balance is poor. He's obviously not great on the ball. Elsewhere, he's pretty good. He's defensively pretty strong if you use him as a left-back. And physically, he's got the stamina. The pace is okay. I mean, the speed's okay. I'd like it to be a bit higher, but the acceleration's a bit iffy, like I say. And the thing is, where would you spare the points to try and boost his acceleration and make him a bit better on the ball? You can't really spare the points anywhere, because you've not really got an excess in any of these areas. So, yeah, you could get away with him as a defensive left back. If you like to use a fullback and you don't really mind them being bad technically on the ball, you just want to stay back and defend, he could certainly do a job for you. I don't think he's great. I think there are probably better options, but there is an option there, I guess. But as a centre back primarily, in fact, I'll just briefly look. I mean, we'll check what the auto allocation says for left mid. I'm pretty sure, yeah, left midfield's out of the question. Not very good there. Defensive mid, the other position he's got, he could train him for. I mean, again, if you like a defensive mid who's just going to sit in front of your defence and just block everything, and you don't mind them being poor technically, he's not great on the ball, but defensively strong, physically got reasonable physical strength, got stamina, you could get away with him as a defensive mid. You need to give him one-touch pass. That's about it, really. So could be an option if you like a really defensive mid and you don't mind the fact he's not great on the ball. But if you like your defensive mids to have any ability on the ball, though, which I do, I would say don't bother. I don't think it'd be great there. But as a centre-back, I think that's where he is going to be best. Yeah, he's all right. He's not amazing. What they've done from his GP card, most of his attributes have gone up by 1, 2, or maybe 3 points, but the biggest boosts are acceleration, which has gone up by 8, and stamina's gone up by 6 from his GP card. Interestingly, if you train his GP card in auto allocation, the defensive attributes are identical, but that's because they increase the defensive attributes 3 more on his GP card. So they actually spend more points on his GP card to get his defensive to the same level. So his GP card is not as good defensively. At first glance it is, but it's just because they've allocated more points. So yeah, reasonable boost overall. Like I say, though, the acceleration and stamina have had the biggest boost. I'm not sure if I'd do much to retrain. It would be nice if we could nudge the tackling up to 90. It'd be nice if we could nudge the physical up by 1, because that'll go from 86 to 88. I think that is important. You do need physical strength in a centre back, and 86 for me is a little bit too low. But where are you going to get the points? That's the problem. You'd need 4 to get defending up 1 higher. You'd need 3 to get aerial up 1 higher. Can we get 7 points? You'd have to take him away from his pace. I wouldn't really want to do that. If he did really want to do that, and if he took all the pace away there, you could do what I suggested, and then you got 1 point left, stick it on the lower body, I guess. Would you do that? I mean, I don't think you'd notice the lack of pace. I think the pace is still fine. But to be honest, I think most people would just accept that you're going to be just slightly shy of 90 with your tackling and engagement, and your physical contact's going to be 86. I think for most people that's probably fine. And I think he's a solid centre-back. Maybe he's worth giving him 1 or 2 skills, like I say, but he's got a pretty strong selection to start off with. And the attributes are pretty strong. It'd be interesting to see how often he plays for Bayern if he gets a lot of form. But I imagine there'll be more Ito cards in the future as well, because obviously he's Japanese and he plays for partner clubs. So that's a perfect combination for Konami. So yeah, it's not an amazing centre-back card, this, but he's got qualities, decent on the ball for centre-back, pretty strong selection of skills, and most of the attributes he's got are pretty good. Just a few of them just a little bit lower than I'd like it to be, but I don't think it's a bad card at all. I think it's not a spectacular one, but it's a pretty solid centre-back really on the whole. And our other centre-back in this pack is Upamecano. So again, got the face scan. Inconsistent form, that's a bit of a shame. It's on eFootball at the moment though. We've had quite a few versions of Upamecano. He's a destroyer these days. He used to be a build-up. I don't know when exactly I changed him to destroyer. Might have been with the big update in September, October, whenever that was. Always got a good selection of skills with Upamecano, heading and aerial, and then man marking, insertion blocker, sliding, acrobatic fighting. Pretty much the complete set of skills defensively, and then weighted pass and low lofted pass. Really good selection skills for a centre back. Let's have a look how he trains out the eFootball hub. So we max him out, get him all trained up. It looks like a pretty solid version of Upamecano. So to compare to other versions, we've had a few Player of the Week ones. The new Champions League Player of the Week one has a bit more acceleration and passing over this one, but it's not quite as strong defensively. And the jumping's a bit higher on this one as well. So pros and cons. the old Champions League Player of the Week one, which is also a build-up. That one's got a bit more speed and passing than this one. But the defensives and physicals are kind of shuffled around a little bit. And then there was an old regular Player of the Week one that was a destroyer, I think. Not quite as good as this one, though. And if you look at the trainable versions of Upamecano, as a build-up, the best trainable versions of Upamecano were build-up. There was one from a France pack, one from a Bayern pack quite a while ago. A bit better than this card on the whole. But as far as destroyers go, which is the playing side he's got now, the better ones are really free ones. There's one with like a kind of dark red background, and there's obviously the Tsubasa one, which most of us have got by now, or at least had. Both of those are around the same level, but I would say this one is slightly better. So this is a really good version of Upamecano. If you like a destroyer version of Upamecano, it's really good. But like I say, it's barely better than the Tsubasa one or the other free one we had a while ago. So if you've got one of those free ones, which most of us probably have, I would say you don't need this one, even though it is slightly better. I don't think it's a massive difference. But the big difference they've made from his GP card on this one is that they boosted his defensive awareness and his stamina the most. Those are the two attributes they boosted the most on this card. Most of his attributes are only gone up by 1 or 2. Some of his attributes haven't been boosted at all. But yeah, the awareness and stamina both up by 8, which is significant, because the stamina obviously helps a bit, but defensive awareness especially, he's always been a bit imbalanced. Upamecano, he's always had engagement, tackling and aggression really high, but the awareness has always been quite a lot lower, but they've boosted that quite a bit, and it's kind of balanced it out a bit, which is very nice. And yeah, like, it's not a massive boost on the whole from his GP card, but just those two attributes getting a big boost, then he ends up about 4 higher in terms of his overall rating. So yeah, this is a good version of Upamecano. I think if you like it as destroyer, if you don't for whatever reason have one of those free ones that I've given us, and if you do get this pack, you've got a very nice Upamecano card here. As I said, he's got great session skills for a centre back. Would you shuffle some points around? I'd like him to have a bit more acceleration, maybe. He can nick a couple off defending. He can nick a couple off aerial. Heading goes a little bit low, but I think winning the headers in the first place is the most important thing. You can get his acceleration to 70. You can actually get his passing up to 70. Low pass. 2 points left. Interesting. Might as well stick on goalkeeper 1. Give him a really good jump. What's his jumping reach? 276. Pretty good. Yeah, I'll probably do that. So you're 90 plus in all your defensives there, and in the mid 90s. So those three that he's always high on. Physical and jumping are good. Now you got acceleration up to 70. Low pass up to 70. Yeah, I'd probably do that. Like I say, on the whole, good version of Upamecano. Not a big difference though from the other two destroyers that we've actually had for free over the past sort of 6 months. There have been some build-up versions that are a bit better. Some of the Player of the Week cards you might consider, the Champions League ones certainly you might consider better, but they've got a slightly different profile. But yeah, on the whole, I think it's just a question of if you've already got a good version of Upamecano, you just got to compare it and decide, is it a better one? As a destroyer, I don't think there's a better one, but build-up there might be. So that's the thing. It might come down to playing stuff, but certainly if you like a destroyer version of Upamecano and you get this pack, this is a very good centre-back card. Now on to our fullbacks. We've got 2 left-backs. We'll start with Alphonso Davies. So he's got his base scan, of course. Attacking fullback. Inconsistent form. Bit of a shame. Skill-wise. Yeah, always an interesting selection with Davies. He's got a few skill moves and he's got crossing. But defensively, yes, we've got sliding tackle and acrobatic clearance, but he could really do with interception. Maybe he's man marking and blocker as well. So we've got some good skills there. But we do need a few extra ones. But let's jump over to eFootball Hub and we'll see just how good he can be when we train him up. So fully trained up, maxed out and everything. It's pretty much what you'd expect from Davies. Crazy pace. Athletically, he's a beast, but he's a little bit lacking in some other areas. So other versions of him, Player of the Week, we had a few Player of the Week cards of him. They're all pretty similar to this one overall. Just kind of stats are shuffled around a little bit. Trainable ones, we had some kind of big time legend type of card of Davies, which is obviously the best version we've had of him, as you'd expect. But apart from that, the best trainable was one that was, I don't know what pack it was, had a kind of dark yellow background, some kind of MVP pack, something like that. Like Young Stars, maybe something like that. That's the best version apart from the legend one, but I would say this one's not far off, to be honest. This is a pretty good version of Davies. It stacks up pretty well. In terms of what they've changed about from his GP card, most of his attributes, they just put him up by about 2, but they put a fairly nice boost on his kicking power, physical contact, attacking awareness, ball control. But interestingly, they've increased his tight possession and his low pass by 10. So they put a big boost on his tight possession and low pass, and those are 2 attributes where he needed a boost, because those attributes tend to be low on Davies. So that makes it a very interesting boost that they've given this guy. So yeah, it's not a massive boost overall, but where they have boosted him, I think it does make it a pretty good version of Davies. If you're mainly concerned on a fullback with the athleticism, you would just want crazy pace, then you might go with auto allocation, of course. It's entirely up to you. For me personally, if you've been watching my videos a while, you know exactly what I'm going to do with the fullback. He does not need that many points on his pace and all this stuff. So let's see if we can improve him in some of the areas where he's a little bit weak. We'll nick a few points. We can go down to 4 on lower body, actually. All the stamina guys below 90. Let's keep it on 5. We'll keep it at 90 stamina for now. It's nice to have his physical contact at 80. Only takes 4 points to get his physical contact to 80. So we'll leave those 4 points there. Defending, can we get his tackling up to 80? Yep. We don't need that much on his dexterity. So you can free up a whole lot of points. He's still got great pace. Can we make him a bit better on the ball? Yep. Can we make his passing better? That's important. They have boosted his low pass a lot, but I still like it a bit better. Right, 3 points left. I think I'm just going to leave it there. That's what I would do. So he's still got really good pace on him. Stamina's at 90 mark. Everything down the right is fine. He's good athletically still, but we've beefed him up a bit defensively. The tackling is over 80 now. He's got a bit of aggression about him as well. The ball control's up to 80. Dribbling at 90 on attacking fullback's fantastic. Low pass, lofted pass are a bit dodgy still, but they're passable. No pun intended. They're at least kind of okay. He's got pinpoint crossing. 76 lofted with pinpoint crossing. You won't have a great cross on him, but he won't be too bad either, I guess. To be honest, if his passing's not that great, maybe you can just take one from passing, put it straight in dribbling, get his tight possession up to 80. Might be worth doing. Not going to make a massive difference. Nice to hit the 80 mark though. But yeah, this is a good version of Davies. He's always got certain weaknesses. He's never great defensively. Some of his technicals aren't so great. It's usually his tight possession, low pass, like I say, but they have boosted those on this version of him, so they've kind of balanced him out pretty well. I think this is a pretty good version of Davies if he's your kind of fullback. Obviously, if he's not, then yeah, you're not going to like him. If you like a real defensive fullback, it's going to be like an auxiliary centre back. This is not your guy. He's not strong enough defensively to use in that way. But as an attacking fullback, certainly, I think he just needs a couple of defensive skills there. And this is a good version of him. I still would like a couple of those two. The awareness and especially engagement to be a bit higher on him. I'd like a bit more passing ability on him personally. But yeah, on the whole, good version of Davies this. And if you look at his other positions, I mean, attacking midfield is out of the question, I think. In fact, could you make him a glitch centre-back? I'm sure you can't. No, of course you can't. Attacking midfield, though, he's got that semi-proficient. Could you make him an attacking mid? 78 low pass? No. Right wing forward. Could you make him a right wing forward? Give him long range curler? You could probably get away with that, to be honest. I'm not sure many people would see Alphonso Davies as a right winger. Could you get his finishing a bit better? Let's just see for the hell of it. I mean, you could do just about that. I mean, his attacking awareness sucks. He's great on the ball. Crazy pace. Good balance. Stamina. Not the best passing. Finishing is reasonable. You give him long range curler, you could make him a right wing forward, I guess. I think more likely if anyone's going to put training for a different position, it's going to be left wing. So as a left winger, it's the crossing really that you need to boost somehow. What can we do? Can we make him better at crossing? Ish. I mean, 80 lofted pass with pinpoint crossing. His crossing's not going to be too bad, but it's not going to be brilliant. Yeah, the pace is crazy. Athletically, he's going to be fantastic. He's going to be pretty nice on the ball. Certainly, his dribbling is great. The attacking awareness is kind of okay. But there is the end product. He can't shoot. Low pass. It's all right for a winger, but lofted pass 80. Even with pinpoint crossing, not great. So yeah, I don't know if it's really worth trying to turn this guy into a winger, but certainly as a left back, whether you kind of balance out the attributes the way I did, where you go with the auto allocations, just have him as an athletic beast. It is a good version of Davies. Boosting the low pass and tight possession, especially by 10 points, has made it a very interesting version of him. Not the best version of him. The legend one's the best, and in terms of the overall rating, that one on the yellow background, whatever pack that was from, technically the best. But with the way they balanced out his attributes on this one, this is one of the better versions of Alphonso Davies. So it's got his weaknesses, as he always does, certainly with the defensives, and he needs one or two skills. But all things considered, if you do like Alphonso Davies, you like this kind of attacking fullback, it's a pretty good version of him. And I think quite a few people will find it quite a fun card to have. And our other left back is Raphaël Guerreiro, fullback finisher. Got a face scan. That's an old face scan. This guy's tiny. He's got that low center of gravity. He's nippy, although he's not got great speed. Only standard form. Skill-wise, a few skill moves. Well, 1 or 2. Double touch and scotch move. Knuckle shot, dipping shot, long range shooting. 1 touch and through. Weighted outside. So defensively, all you've got is acrobatic clearance. So if you are going to use him as a left back, that's a big if. You're going to need a few defensive skills, but going forward, you could do with pinpoint crossing if you play him on the left, but through the middle he's got the passing. He's got a pretty good section of skills, but I think wherever you play him, there's 1 or 2 skills going to be needed. But let's jump over to eFootball Hub. Let's see how good this Guerreiro card is. So as a left back first, like I say, it's a big if you want to use him as a left back. Not the quickest. That's a bit of a question mark. They've already gone up to 12 on his lower body. So any increases beyond 12, the next 4 are going to cost you 4 points each. Can you get those points from anywhere? Not really. So you've got a slow left back, but outside of the speed, everything else looks great. And physical contact, to be fair, he's a bit weak. He's a small, weak guy, but apart from being a bit slow and a bit weak, everything else is fantastic. Amazing balance, acceleration, great kicking power, stamina's all right, defensively really strong. Down the left there, he's fantastic for a fullback. So if you want a really attacking fullback, he's just a little bit lacking strength and speed. If you do, he could be a really fun one. As a fullback finisher, outside of the speed and that physical contact, he's got a pretty good profile because he's very tidy on the ball when he drifts into the midfield. He's got 1-touch passing, through passing as well. If you like that kind of fullback, you don't mind the weaknesses there down the right, it could be a really nice one to have, to be fair. We've had a few versions of Guerreiro. There was a Player of the Week card ages ago from when he was playing for Portugal one time. A very popular card. That was a really nice card. That card had more points down the left-hand side. But this one's way better defensively, and we've got a bit more speed and kicking power on this one. This one is lacking a bit in speed, but it's actually been boosted a bit. I think from his GP card, yeah, they've increased his speed and his dribbling by about 6 points, I think. So speed and dribbling are the 2 big boosts from his GP card. Apart from that, not much of a boost, but that speed and dribbling boost does make a difference. In terms of previous trainable versions of Guerreiro, he did used to have a slightly different profile. When he had a different profile, he wasn't as good defensively. He was a bit better down the left. They kind of shuffled him around and made him a bit more of a defensive-minded player. There's one in the new transfers pack when he joined Bayern and one in the Portugal pack. Both of those were stronger down the left, but not so much down the middle. But in terms of this profile, since they made that change, there have been a couple of versions since then. So they'll be quite similar to this one, really. One was a free card with that dark red background, similar to the Upamecano one I mentioned, and one was in one of those national team packs. Players from one, they do one from Europe, one from the rest of the world. There's one in one of those packs. I would say not quite as good as this one, really. Pretty similar on the whole, but this one's got a bit more dribbling and speed, obviously, which because they've been boosted quite a bit, and also a bit more balance. So yeah, it's a pretty good version of Guerreiro. This is looking like a pretty good card. It's just a question of how you would use him, what positions are going to be good in for you, because like I say, as a left back for me personally, I don't like the forward finisher playing style. I don't like the way they drift into midfield and go wandering out of position. And also he is lacking speed. He's not quite got the speed as a fullback, and he's a little bit weak physically as well. I don't think that's as big a concern as the speed, though. I think speed's the main issue. But outside of that speed, though, like I say, in the physical contact, he's got some fantastic attributes for a fullback, and he's a really good profile for a fullback finisher. But if you don't fancy him as a left back, you do have other positions you can play him in. Centre back's adjacent. You could make him a centre back if you're feeling absolutely crazy. I mean, wow. Make him a centre back. Defensively, he's a monster. Just a shame he's got 70 physical contact and he's tiny and slow. So, yeah, you can forget centre back, obviously. But other positions, let's start with left midfield. So if you wanted to make him a left winger, again, speed's a bit of an issue. But other than that, looking pretty good. If you gave this guy pinpoint crossing, and accept the fact he's not the quickest, if you want to use him just to whip crosses in, he's going to be pretty nice on the ball. It'd be nice if we can nudge his on the ball. Actually, he's up by 1, get his dribbling up to 90. But he's good on the ball, though. The low and lofted pass, both 90 plus. Finishing decent for a winger. Acceleration is great, even if the speed isn't. Great kicking power, fantastic balance. He's got a lot of strengths as a left winger. Can he really shuffle some points around? I'm not sure. You certainly don't want to lose any of that speed. You could afford to lose acceleration, certainly balance, but that attacking awareness is not great. So Yeah, the speed and attacking awareness for me kind of ruined him a little bit as a left midfield, but he's certainly got enough qualities that if you like a left winger putting crosses in, if you gave him pinpoint crossing, could be a really useful option on the left, creating some goals for you with his crossing. And his crossing's already good without pinpoint crossing, but certainly if you gave him pinpoint crossing, it'd be fantastic. Through the middle though, you got defensive mid, centre mid, attacking mid. Let's start with defensive mid. Can you make him a defensive mid? Ooh. Well, he's weak. That's the weakness really, physically, but apart from that, very interesting. So the free one that we picked up, like I mentioned it, the one with the dark red background, we got it a while back. I've got mine trained as a DMF. He's pretty neat. I've only really used him against the AI there, but he's pretty neat there. He's very nimble, he's neat on the ball, and this isn't too dissimilar. And you look at the attributes here, defensively really strong, passing fantastic, on the ball he's decent for a DMF. Not the quickest, decent acceleration though, pretty good kicking power. Balance is really good. Stamina, slight question mark there, and the physical strength as well. So again, you've got one or two weaknesses, but as a defensive mid, certainly in a double pivot, if you've got a big, strong guy alongside him, maybe you would need one or two skills. Interception would be very, very important. You play him in any kind of central midfield area, DMF, CMF, or well, maybe not AMF, but certainly DMF or CMF, you would need interception. I think it's a very important one. As a DMF, I would also consider man marking blocker. He's got pretty much everything else you would need though on the ball. Got some lovely passing on him. So yeah, some really good strengths there. As a DMF, you could certainly get away with him. You can maybe nick a few points in defending, to be honest. Certainly if you're putting him in some kind of double pivot. And then you could boost, what would you boost? Maybe his stamina and speed a bit. Be nice to get his physical strength up a little bit, but yeah, I'd probably do that as a DMF. Pretty nice. So not quite strong defensively, but still strong though. We've got extra stamina on him now and a bit more speed. Yeah, as a DMF, give him one or two skills could be a really nice option. And if we push him a little bit higher up the pitch, a CMF or about a centre mid again, interception will be important. But I think you can get away with just giving him interception. If you just gave him interception, I think the rest of the skills he's got there, he's got enough as a centre midfielder. What's the allocation telling us? So they give him really good passing as a CMF. I don't think you need the passing that high, and they put a lot of points on. So if we nick a few points from there, get a bit better on the ball. He needs a bit more attacking awareness. Attacking awareness isn't just for making runs into the box and scoring goals. You need it in any kind of midfield or attacking area to be kind of responsive enough, getting on the end of passes and through passes when you're putting attacking moves together. So we'll get his attacking awareness at least up to 70. Would we do much else? Give him a bit of physical strength maybe. Oh, he needs a bit more stamina, doesn't he? Can we get his stamina up? No, it's a bit tricky. I mean, he can nick a couple from on the ball. Yeah, get his stamina up to 88. It's probably worth doing. Put the last one on aerial. Yeah, I'd probably do that as a centre mid. Again, the attacking awareness is a bit of an issue for me. It is a concern, and he is obviously physically weak, but you're never going to make him strong. I think with that kind of a build, tidy on the ball, nice passing. Defensively, he's got some defensive ability there. Give him interception. I think he could certainly do his defensive work as a centre mid, no problem. The speed, again, he's not the quickest, but with the acceleration at 90, I think it'd be quick enough for a centre mid. Great kicking power, fantastic balance. Stamina's okay at 88. As a centre mid, could be a very interesting option. As an attacking mid, might as well give that a try. What's auto allocation going to tell us? So pretty much fantastic apart from the attacking awareness, really. It's a bit of a shame his attacking awareness is so low. It kind of screws him up a bit for me, but could we try and get that a bit higher somehow? Let me see. Get it up a little bit. The stamina's dodgy with this build. Yeah, there's not a great deal you can do to get the stamina up, really, if you really wanted to be good as an attacking mid. You could use him as a super sub, really, or put a counter target on him, or just accept that you're going to have to sub him off by about the hour mark with that poor stamina. But on the ball, nice. Passing, nice. Got the attacking awareness at least up into the mid-70s there. Balance 99. Wow. He's going to feel very nimble and responsive on the ball, even if he's not got much speed. That low centre of gravity, the strength that he's got. Yeah, you could use him as an attacking mid if you wanted to train him for that position. He could be a pretty neat option there. Yeah, I just this one or two attributes, that attacking awareness and the speed. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. For some people, maybe. I think for all things considered, probably centre mid for me or DMF. Those are the positions I'll be using him in. Left back, he's got one or two real weaknesses. The real attacking positions, the left wing or attacking mid, I just think the attacking awareness and to an extent the speed are going to hold him back a bit. But as a centre mid or DMF, whether you train him like I did or you go with the auto allocation. I think as a CMF or as a DMF, you've got a card here that could be a really nice option. Like I said, I've got that free one a lot of us have with the kind of dark red background. I think he just needs a couple of defensive skills, and then as a DMF in like some kind of double pivot, really nice on the ball, nimble, good defensively, it can be a really interesting option. So yeah, this is an interesting one, because one of these cards, you've got a bunch of ways you can use him. There's always 1 or 2 weaknesses for certain attributes wherever you use him, and he does need 1 or 2 skills. But if you do give him 1 or 2 skills, in fact, you could make him. No, you can't make him a right wing. Yeah, because he's not adjacent. Forget that. So yeah, a bunch of positions you can use this guy, and he needs 1 or 2 skills, 1 or 2 weaknesses wherever you play him. But the strengths he's got, he has some real strengths. He's nimble. He's lovely on the ball. He's got some real defensive ability these days as well. So depending what position you want to use him in, I think a lot of people could have a lot of fun with this guy, and it's a good version of Guerreiro. Now into the midfield, and we've got another Portuguese. We've got João Palhinha, Destroyer and DMF. He has a face scan. He has unwavering form. Skill-wise, long-range curler, long-range shooting. Not too important on DMF, but we've got one-touch pass. We could do it through passing. Man-marking, interception, aerial sliding tackle. So I would give him through passing first, and then probably blocker. I think those 2 skills he would really benefit from. Apart from that, he's got some pretty good skills there, though. Let's have a look how good he actually is, though, on eFootball. So get more trained up, maxed out. He's got some strengths. One issue you always get with Palhinha, he doesn't tend to be very good at passing, and you might be okay with that on a defensive midfielder. I personally am not. I like my midfielders to be able to pass the ball. I consider that pretty important. But defensively, he's very strong. Down the right here, he's physically strong, good stamina. He's obviously got strengths. It's just he's one of these players who he's always got a bit of an imbalance. He's strong in some areas, not so much in others. It's not the highest rated version that we've had. There's been one higher rated version. That was when he was at Fulham. That was in some kind of legend box, I think. Slightly better than this one, but not a massive difference. Apart from that one, this is about as good as we've had. It's a pretty good version of Palhinha. What they've done from his GP card, again, it's an interesting boost they've given this guy. They didn't used to do an awful lot with these highlight cards in packs. They would just put all the stats up by like a few, and then one stat would get a slightly higher boost. But what I'm noticing with these packs is that a lot of these cards, they're really making some significant changes to the profile, giving it a pretty big boost to certain attributes, which is good. I like that. It makes the cards more interesting. And what they've done with this one is they've boosted him where he needs it. They put, well, in one of the areas he needs it at least, not the passing, because he does need better passing, but they boosted his speed by 10, his acceleration by 12, his balance is up by 7 as well, and they put a few in his defensive awareness. Apart from that, not much of a boost elsewhere. Some of his attributes aren't boosted at all, but certainly those ones I mentioned there, the pace in particular, have had a really significant boost. So normally he's quite slow, now his pace is a lot better. It's pretty respectable pace now on the DMF. That's interesting. And yeah, like I say, apart from that one slightly better one, this is about as good as we've had off Palhinha. It's a good version of him. I think it's just one of these cards as a defensive midfielder where it comes down to these attributes technically. Are you okay with the fact that he's technically horrible and he can't really pass the ball and he can't really control the ball very well? A lot of people are fine with that. If you're like a DMF destroyer to just sit in front of your defense and just do the defensive work and then play simple passes, you think these technical attributes are fine, good for you. He's pretty strong as a real out-and-out destroyer. He could certainly do a job for you. Personally, I don't think his passing is good enough. I couldn't possibly play a defensive mid with passing that low. Is there any way we can get the points from? Not really. You'd have to take his defensive ability down. And then how good could you get his passing? You still can't get it that good. Even if you put all those points straight on passing, it's not great. I would personally do that. You still get 90 tackling there. You could maybe think a couple of lower body. Still got the stamina at 90. Make it a bit better on the ball, maybe. Yeah, I personally would do that because I want my midfielders to be a bit more comfortable technically when they got the ball at their feet. But I think most people will probably stick with auto allocation. And like I say, I'll give him blocker and through passing, but then with blocker and through passing, you've got just about all the skills he needs. Maybe you could do with aerial superiority possibly as well. But yeah, for the most part, strong defensive mid, just like I say, it's that issue technically. Is he going to be good enough technically on the ball for you? For me, no, but for a lot of people, he'd be fine. And defensively and physically, he's very strong. So this is a good version of Palhinha. Going forward as a centre mid, I don't think you can make him anywhere near good enough on the ball to be a centre mid. You end up sacrificing a lot on the defensive ability. He's still decent defensively. I mean, he could nick a couple more defending, but I don't think it's worth it really. It's only 4 points used on his defending there. Can you make him decent as a centre mid? Let me see. Nah, not really. No, I mean, the attacking awareness sucks, the balance sucks, the passing is still only 85. Still not great on the ball. I'm not sure many people want to do that. I think most people want to stick with him as a DMF. But you do have one other position you could realistically put him in. I'm not going to even bother trying to see how good he could be as a wide midfielder. I'm not going to train him for wide midfielder. He'd be terrible there. But you could train him for centre-back. He's semi-proficient centre-back, so you only need potentially one position training to get centre-back. Although the way the game is, you might need 1,000 because position trainers suck. But can we make him a centre-back? How good is he? Decent. Decent. He's usable. Be nice if we could nudge that defensive engagement up to 90. We need 3 points for that. Oh no, we need 4 points for that. Damn. Let's just take all his dexterity off him. Yoink. That's an interesting centre-back. So his jumping's not great and he doesn't have aerial superiority. That's the one obvious weakness there if you're going to use this guy as a centre-back. But if you gave him aerial superiority and you don't mind the fact he's not great in the air, he is 6'3", jumping reach 273. It's not too bad. So you give him blocker, acrobatic clearance, aerial superiority, heading. It might be worth making him a centre-back. Now, I'm not sure how many people want to do that, but if you get this pack and you look at this guy and you think, well, he's not going to get anywhere near your team as a defensive mid if you've got better defensive mid options, could be worth looking at him as a centre-back option. He could definitely do a job there. Not going to be dominant in the air with the jumping not being higher than that, but certainly elsewhere, defensively really strong. That tackling at 98, yikes. And he's pretty tidy on the ball for a centre-back. Pace is pretty average, good stamina. It's an option for you. I think as a DMF, a lot of people find him to be a pretty solid option, but if he's not going to be a worthwhile option for you as a defensive mid, do consider him at least as a centre-back. As you can see there on eFootball, it's saying he's about 100 rated as a centre-back, so he is a viable option as a centre-back if you fancy doing that. It might be an alternative to DMF, but either way, as a centre-back or a DMF, maybe needs 1 or 2 skills, but he could be a side one. It's a pretty good version of Palhinha. It's not an amazing card, but as a version of Palhinha, it's pretty decent, and there's a couple of options where he could be a useful card for you. And we have another DMF, and it is Pavlović, and this guy is an anchorman. He also has a face scan, only standard form. Got a few skills here, so again, we've got most of the most important ones on a DMF. One touch pass, weighted, low lofted. We need through passing, and then interception, blocker, aerial. I think through passing and man marking are the 2 skills you need on this guy, but he's got a pretty good selection to start off with. Let's jump over to eFootball and see how good he is. So all maxed out, trained up. He's pretty solid. So we've not had many versions of Pavlović. We've had a recent Player of the Week one. They made him a box to box, and they kind of shuffled the stats around a bit, made him gave him a bit more of a kind of all-rounder build. Wasn't quite as strong defensively. This one is a bit better overall. And there was one version of him a while back in some kind of legend box, which wasn't quite as good. I think the overall rating was one lower than this one, but pretty similar on the whole. Again, stats shuffled around a little bit, but pretty similar to this version. I was saying with Palhinha just now that they've given some of these cards a really interesting boost, which is pretty cool, whereas they used to just do a more uniform boost, and that's what they've done on this one. It's a more uniform boost than Pavlović. They basically put almost all of his attributes up by 4, but tight possession is up by 7. That's the biggest boost, and that's pretty much it. So not the most interesting boost, but it's a fairly good one. One thing to note, I think I said the same with, I think it was Ito, the centre-back. If you look at his GP card and auto allocation, the defensives look identical, but that's because they've allocated points on the defensives a lot higher on the GP card. They only got up to 12 in this one, but on the GP card it's up to, I think, 16. So they've allocated a lot more points to get the defensives to the same level on the GP card. It is a good boost that he's had across the board compared to his GP card. So it's a pretty good version of Pavlović. Bit lacking positions. He's really just the DMF, but yeah, he's solid. He's not got great pace. I think the acceleration and balance are a slight concern for me. Defensively though, pretty strong. Down the left, he's pretty tidy. As tidy as you'd want DMF to be, certainly as tidy as I want it to be. I was saying with Palhinha, I like my DMF to be better on the ball, and this guy is better on the ball. And they've not allocated many points to make him that good on the ball, which is good. The points are mainly on defending. There's quite a few on lower body. You can nick a few off lower body, to be honest. You don't need too much pace in the DMF. I would just like a bit more acceleration on him. Yeah, I'll probably just do that. Literally just that, to be honest. Probably worth doing in my opinion. Yeah, I think he's a solid DMF. He's not an amazing one. I think that most people who've been playing the game for a while now have probably got some pretty strong options there, where maybe you've got someone who's more physically strong, maybe someone with a bit more pace, a bit more balance, just a bit better overall. But this is a solid card. It's not an amazing one, but he could do a job for a lot of people. Just 1 or 2 skills needed. I think, like I say, just through passing and man marking is all he really needs, and then he could be a very competent DMF with the anchorman playing style, just sitting back, holding, sitting deep and holding things together in front of your defence. In terms of other positions, I mean, you could train him for wide midfield, but he's not got the pace or the ability. I don't think you're going to make him a good wide midfielder. Auto allocation would tell you that. I mean, he'd have great passing and crossing, actually. You could make him a winger if you really wanted to, I guess. Could you? I mean, if you don't mind your wingers being slow. Why am I training Pavlović as a winger? What am I doing? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you really wanted to, for some bizarre reason, you could make him a right winger. He's slow, but give him pinpoint crossing, you'd have a very nice cross on him, I guess. But yeah, more realistically, centre midfield. I don't know. You definitely need more dexterity on him as a centre mid. The balance is poor, acceleration is poor, attacking awareness is poor. We've lost some points off defending there. I don't think we need as many points on passing. We'll get his tackling up to 80. Get his dexterity up a bit. 2 points left. Stick him on aerial. Centre mid, yeah, I don't know. He's fairly tidy technically. Even more important to put through passing on him. Apart from that, yeah, he could be an option for you, I guess. He will not have an active playing style if you train him to be a centre midfielder. And command's not active there, so we'll probably kind of play like a box to box, but he won't be getting up and down the pitch quite as much as a box to box. It'll be quite neutral without an active playing style. But that is an option for you. And then again, like with Palhinha, you could train him to be a centre back because that's adjacent to his registered position. If you can afford the position trainers, it might take you only 2, it might take you 1,000. You just don't know position trainers. But can you make him any good as a centre back? The engagement's a bit low for me. Down the left, lovely for a centre back. On the right, pace is kind of average, not amazing. Physical strength kind of okay. Stamina's great. Defensively, all good except for engagement, a bit low. I don't think it's really worth it. You need 1 or 2 defensive skills to finishing off skill-wise as a centre-back, and you've got 1 or 2 weaknesses there, so I don't think I'd bother there. I think with Pavlović, you're really looking at a solid anchor man, DMF. He's not an amazing one, but he's got qualities. If you like your DMF to have a bit of ability on the ball, certainly he's got some decent attributes there, along with some good defensive ones, so yeah, not a top-level one by any means, but he's got some qualities there, and he could certainly be an option for people. Just 1 or 2 skills, 3 passing and man marking. He could do a very decent job for you there, so yeah. It's a good version of Pavlović. I imagine over the course of time there may well be some better versions to come from him if he continues to develop and do well for Bayern. But yeah, certainly at this point I think it's about just about the best version we've had of him, and I think he could be a very competent DMF. And now we have Big Leon. I like this guy in eFootball. I've had a version of him for ages now. He's got his face scanner course, standard form, box-to-box centre midfielder. Pretty good section skills, although he needs through passing. That's about the only one he really needs as centre mid, certainly. But let's jump over to eFootball and see how good this version is. And all fully trained and boosted, he's pretty good. This is one of the better versions of Goretzka that we've had. The one that I've got is an ancient one. It's from a good couple of years ago now, and it still just about stands the test of time for me. It's a good solid all-rounder. He's a big physical guy. Works really well on a double pivot for me. And this is pretty much on the same level as the better versions that we've had of Goretzka. We've had quite a few versions by now. There's been a few Player of the Week ones. There was a Player of the Week, I think Champions League Player of the Week one that was a build-up centre-back. And if you play that card as a centre-back, I don't think it's too great, but if you use it as a defensive midfielder, it's pretty good. I would say as a defensive midfielder or as a centre midfielder, that Champions League Player of the Week card is comparable to this one. Better in some ways, not so much in other ways. And the other Player of the Week cards aren't quite as good as this one that we've had at Goretzka. And then out of the trainables, we've had quite a few trainable versions of Goretzka. The best ones, there are a few around the same level as this one. This is on the kind of the same level as the best trainable versions of Goretzka, so it's a good version of him if you like this guy. They have slightly changed his profile quite recently, I think, because if you look at the best versions previously, this one is a bit worse on the ball, but a bit better defensively. I think a little bit better stamina as well. Obviously, you can retrain them and shuffle the points around, but they do seem to have changed his profile slightly. But certainly in terms of overall ability, he's up there with the better trainable versions of Goretzka. So yeah, looking pretty solid. He's certainly got some qualities here. You see the passing is good, kicking power is good, stamina. It's another one where he's had an interesting boost though. They've not just done a kind of uniform boost from his GP card. What they've done, they've increased his speed by 8, his acceleration by 13, stamina's up by 7, There's quite a lot of stats have gone up by 3 or 4, maybe it's 5 in some cases, but they've also reduced some stats, which is really strange. I don't think they've ever really done that until recently with these highlight cards. So his heading's down by 3, his kicking power down by 1, ball control down by 1, and they've also taken a few points away from his low and lofted pass, which is really strange. So yeah, I don't know why they've done that, but the passing certainly still comes out alright, and it still comes out as a pretty nice boost overall. But as I mentioned there, a bit more on his stamina, and especially with his pace, because he's not always the quickest, Goretzka. They've given him more pace, which is not. I mean that's not what he really needs, to be fair, but it is what it is. I'd rather have a boost on ball control than speed, but yeah, still a good version on the whole. Like I say, it's one of the better trainable versions of him, certainly in terms of his overall rating. I wouldn't change a huge amount in the way the points are allocated as a centre midfielder. I don't think you'd really want to spare anything from anywhere. The balance is a bit poor, it always is on him. There's only 4 on dexterity, to be fair, so you could get his dexterity up a bit. The question would just be where you get the points from. You can nick a couple off defending. You can take that 1 off shooting. That gives you 5 points. If we can free up 1 more point, we can get 1 more on dexterity. In fact, could we get his balance to 70? You could nick a couple off passing, I guess. Get a balance up to 70. And we've got 3 points left. Put it on the ball. He's not great on the ball. Yeah, you could do that, round him out a little bit more balance. I think that would help. I think the balance on the one that I've got is a bit higher than this. I think it's about 75 fully boosted, but yeah, he's never got great balance. He is going to be quite a kind of big physical clunky guy, but he's always done well for me, the one that I've got in that double pivot for me. He's physical, he'll get his foot and he'll win the ball for you, and he can pass the ball as well. I would give him through passing, like I say. I think that's an important skill to give a centre mid box to box. But interceptions there, that's an important one as well. Other positions you're going to use him somewhere else. I mean, he's got more pace. Shall we look at wide midfield? I'm not sure many people see Goretzka as a wide midfielder. He could do a job there. I mean, he's not great on the ball though. Poor balance. I don't think many people are going to see his guy as a wide midfielder. Attacking midfield? Yeah, again, is he good enough technically going forward to be an attacking mid? I'm not sure. I don't think, again, just like wide midfield, I don't think many people are going to consider that really. But I will just briefly look at that there for you, just so that you can see if he's any good there, which I don't think he really is particularly. But as a defensive mid, that's quite interesting. I think he could do a job as a defensive mid. They've put a lot of points on defending. Those last 2 increases cost 4 points each. I'm going to take one and go 1 down. I'm not going to go low. I'll leave the tackling at 90, but that gives us 4 points just by taking 1 off there. I'm just going to make him a bit better on the ball. And then I'm going to nick 1 from the lower body. 1 more on the ball there. So we get the ball control and type possession to 80. Yeah, I think as a defensive mid, that's a solid option there. He will have the box-to-box playing style still active as a defensive mid, so he will still get up and down quite a bit. If you don't want that on a defensive mid, you'll have to put the defensive instruction on him. But technically, he's tidy enough for a defensive mid. Defensively, he's strong. Physically, he's strong. Stamina's good. Yes, he's got poor balance. You might feel a little bit clunky, but the pace overall is decent. He could be a decent option as a defensive mid, but as a defensive mid, you would need 1 or 2 more skills defensively. Man marking and blocker, maybe aerial superiority. I would still put through passing on him as well. So a few skills needed, but as a defensive mid, that could be a strong option for you, certainly. And then you could make him a centre-back. He's semi-proficient centre-back. So can we make him a sneaky centre-back? Ooh, we could. That's interesting. So defensively, he's very strong. Physically, he's very strong. Again, though, you need to give him aerial superiority. And that jumping, he's about 6'2", 6'3". Jumping's not great. What's the aerial reach coming up as? It's 274. So he'd be okay in there. If you gave him aerial superiority, he'd be okay in there. He won't be dominant, but he'll be okay. You would need to give him a bunch of defensive skills: man marking, blocker, acrobatic clearance, maybe sliding tackle, aerial superiority. But certainly in terms of the attributes, be nice on the ball for a centre-back. Physically very strong. The pace and everything else down here will be fine for a centre-back. The defences are strong, so could be an option. I mean, you see there, eFootball Hub saying 103 rated centre-back. I think that tells you a lot. He could be a strong centre-back. You just need to give him a few skills, but again, I mean, defending, you could take defending down by 1 and still be 90 plus and all them. That gives you 4 points back. 4 points to put somewhere else. Get the acceleration up to 80. What about the other 2? Oh, that's an obvious one. Goalkeeper 1. Get his jumping up to 88. And then your jumping height goes to 276.4 centimetres. Yeah, that's actually a decent option as a centre-back. You know, I'm not sure many people are going to look at Goretzka and think, yeah, that could be my new centre-back. But if he's not going to get into your midfield anytime soon, that is definitely an option as a centre-back. To train him like that, if you gave him a few skills, that could be a really nice centre-back, actually. I've never really considered Goretzka as a centre-back, but that is a strong option for you. So, yeah, centre midfielder, solid all-rounder. DMF could be pretty strong. Centre-back, if you gave him the skills, could be pretty strong there as well. So, yeah, you've got a few ways you could use this card. It's one of the better versions of Goretzka, certainly as a midfielder, and even as a sneaky centre-back, it could be a pretty strong option there as well. So, might be one of these cards that a lot of people take one look at and think, nah, Goretzka, I'm not interested in that, but it's one or two ways you could use him where it could actually give you a bit more value than you realise. That's a fairly good card, that. This is a card a lot of people have been asking about. So we've got Michael Olise. He has his face scan. He's a roaming flank these days. He used to be a creative playmaker. They changed him, I think, maybe with the big update it was. It's quite recently changed from creative playmaker. Unwavering form. Pretty good selection skills for a right winger. You can play him through the middle as well, and wide left forward as well. Left footer. Got a long range curl. That's a great one to have coming off the right flank especially. Heel kick and outside curl, nice. Through passing, pinback crossing. So you've got pretty good selection skills on this guy. Let's jump over to eFootball Hub. The big question is, how good is he? How well does he kind of compare to other versions? So you max him out, get him all boosted up. It is obviously a good version of Olise, this. So to get to it, the other versions of him, the best version we've had is the Showtime version from a while back. That was a creative playmaker though. If you prefer this playing style, there's not a massive difference between this one and the Showtime one. So the Showtime one is the best, but not by too much. There's not a big difference. If you prefer the creative playmaker style, then the Showtime is definitely the best one for you. But if you prefer a roaming flank, I would say this one's better. Not as good statistically, but if you prefer the playing style, there's not that much of a difference. You look at the other versions, you're looking at the player of the week ones in terms of the best versions of him. The only comparable roaming flank version, it really is the Champions League player of the week one with that playing style. And it is slightly better than this one, to be honest, but there's not a massive difference again. And this one can be trained, so you can tweak it however you like. You can put skills on it. And then there's two other Champions League player of the week ones, which are both whole players. Pretty similar to this one on the whole, to be honest, but one of them does have a booster. And when that one's on A form, the booster does make it slightly better than this one. But again, there's not a massive difference. So I think really, if you're looking at the Olise cards, you're looking at this pack thinking, is that a better version than the one I've got? If you've got one of the Champions League player of the week ones, I don't think it's worth getting this one. Maybe you've got one that's slightly better. Maybe this one's slightly better than one you got. There's not a big difference overall. Those Champions League ones are all fairly similar level. Yes, some of them might look like they're one or two higher in terms of their overall rating, but you look at all the attributes, there's not a big difference. Not a big difference really. And you can train this card obviously. And obviously if you've got the Showtime version, if you're happy with the creative playmaker playing style, the Showtime one's the best. But if you do prefer this playing style, maybe this one would be preferable. So it's not an obvious answer, you know, which one's better at this one and that one, but this is a good version of Olise. If you really want a good version with the roaming flank playing style, you don't have the Champions League one. Good version of him, and it's comparable to just about every version there's been, even if there are one or two that are slightly higher in terms of the numbers. But it's a good one, this. If you're not got a good version already, it's a good one. If you do have a good version already, then you probably don't need it, but yeah, this is a nice card. Right wing, roaming flank. I like that playing style. A left footer coming off the right wing. As I say, he's got good skill. He's got a long range curler when it cuts it onto his left foot. I mean, he's fantastic on the ball there. You could maybe nick a point off there. Still 90 plus in all of those. But then where do you really need the points? You get his balance up to 90, I guess. That'd be nice. I'll probably just do that, to be honest. His finishing's good for a right wing at 82. Passing's reasonable for a wide man. I wouldn't do much more. If I'm going to play this guy as a right winger, I wouldn't do much more. I mean, he could, if you want to really be pedantic, you nick 2 off shooting instead of 80 and get his physical contact up to 70. It's not really going to make much difference, but it looks nice at least. Yeah, I wouldn't do a great deal. I think he looks pretty good as a right winger there. If you want to give him more speed, you could actually take a bit more of his on the ball attributes and get his speed up to 90. Yeah, and that gets his kicking power to 88 as well. Always keep in mind kicking power. It does help a lot, kicking power. It can really make a difference. So that finishing over 80, curl mid 80s, kicking power 88, long range curler. He's going to have a nice long range curler on him. Pace, good on the ball. Yeah, as a right winger, this is a really nice version of Olise, this. Other positions, you could play him on wide left. He's got pinpoint crossing. Do you want him wide on the left as a left footer, putting crosses in? And you could position train him for left midfield as well, actually. So might as well have a look at that. The issue then is we've got to get the passing up a bit. So can we make him good at crossing? You can make him reasonable. Yeah, you can make him reasonable at crossing, not amazing. I think that's what I'd do probably as a left winger. Yeah, something like that. So pretty nice pace. That's pretty much what it was with auto allocation. Good on the ball. We've got the low lofted pass a bit higher now into the mid-80s. He's got pinpoint crossing. So whether it's wide left forward or if you wanted to position training for left midfield as a left winger, that is an option. He'd have a decent cross on him. And he's got the attributes to be a left winger, so that's an option for you as well. But then we've got through the middle as well. Centre midfield, he's not strong enough defensively. I don't think anyone's going to waste this guy as a centre midfield. He's got too much ability going forward and he's not strong enough defensively. Forget about centre mid. But attacking midfield, no active playing style. Can we make him an attacking mid? The passing's the issue there. I mean, I think I'd probably do pretty much the same as left wing, because as much as you want that lofted pass higher to cross it from the left, you need the low pass higher to be an attacking mid. Pace isn't quite so important. You could maybe nick a couple of points of lower body, but the stamina's not great. Nick one off dexterity maybe. Still don't have enough points to get the passing up. If you get his passing up by one more, he'll go from 86 to 88. In fact, we'll nick one more dribbling. We'll do it that way. There we go, we can. We got 1 point, stick on shooting. Yeah, I think as an attacking mid, I would do that. Maybe even as an SS as well behind the attack. So he's got through passing. I'll give him one touch pass. Maybe his first time shot long range shooting, but I think one touch pass is the important one as an attacking midfielder. Give him one touch pass, he's ready to get through passing, getting that passing up to 88 low pass. As an attacking midfielder, no active playing style, but the attacking awareness goes up to 80. He'll make enough attacking runs. I think he'll be very decent there. Tidy on the ball, nice pace for an attacking midfielder. Yeah, on the whole, pretty nice attacking mid. It's certainly an option for you there, but I think ultimately I'll reset him back to auto allocation. I'll leave him on that because I think as a right winger, yes, you can make him a pretty decent left mid. You could make him a fairly tidy attacking mid, but I think wide right is the best place for this guy. With a roaming flank playing style, I like that playing style. He'll drift inside, take out some interesting positions. And then coming onto his left foot with the fact he's got a pretty nice long range curler on him. He's got through passing as well. His passing's reasonable for a wide man. Very nice on the ball, good pace, balance. Like I say, if you compare it to other versions, it's tricky to say which one's better. There are one or two cards that are slightly higher, and one or two of the Champions League ones. You've got the Showtime one, but it's not a big difference either way. And you can train this card as well, as I've just been doing there, which is a big advantage, not just in terms of the attributes, but you can put skills on him. One touch pass, long range shooting, first time shot, some skill moves, whatever you want to do. So yeah, this is a very nice version of Olise. If you've already got a good version that you're happy with, maybe one of the Champions League ones, I wouldn't go spending the coins on this pack just to get this card. But if you don't have one of the better versions of them already, and if you want one, this is a good version of Olise. It definitely stacks up well against other versions. Certainly as a roaming flank, there's only been the Champions League ones, a roaming flank that's comparable to this one. So yeah, very nice to the right wing. It could play through the middle or on the left, but as a right wing, I think this is a really nice card. I think anyone who gets this pack, this is probably one of the better cards in the pack that you'll be getting. And now onto the opposite flank, we have another roaming flank. So Serge Gnabry got his face scan, of course. I think they've changed it quite recently to that. I'm pretty sure he always used to be a prolific winger. That must be a recent change. So he's a roaming flank these days. Left wing forward. Only got inconsistent form. That's a bit harsh, I think. Although he's on D form, so I guess his form is up and down. Skill-wise, pretty good selection of skills for a right-footed left winger. So we've got long range curler again. We've got long range shooting as well. One touch pass. No through passing though. You can maybe do with through passing, outside curler. Yeah, you've got a pretty good selection of skills there. So let's jump over to eFootball Hub and see how good this Gnabry card is. So it's pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's quite on the same level as Olise, but it's a decent looking card, this. We've had a few player of the week Gnabrys. We've had a left midfield whole player. We've had a right midfield creative playmaker. I'd say the whole player left mid was pretty similar to this one on the whole. The right mid playmaker maybe slightly better. And there was another one that was a centre forward goal poacher version of Gnabry. Obviously a very different profile. I'd say slightly better than this one again, but all the stats are shuffled around a bit on those cards. They've all got slightly different profiles. In terms of trainables, like I said, they all seem to be prolific wingers. I'm not sure there's been a roaming flank trainable version of Gnabry in the past. So yeah, there's been a few previous that are slightly higher rated as prolific wingers, but this one's not a million miles away. And obviously he does have that roaming flank playing style, which is a bit new for Gnabry and eFootball, which is interesting to me. I prefer the roaming flank playing style to prolific winger. Roaming flank, one advantage to a roaming flank over a prolific winger. It's personal preference which one you prefer in terms of when it's active, but prolific winger is only active as a wide forward. Prolific winger is not active as wide midfield. Roaming front will be active as a wide forward or as a wide midfielder. So that is one advantage if you ever switch between wide midfielders and wingers. But yeah, in terms of his boost from his GP card, another interesting build. So it's not a massive boost that they've given him. Most of his attributes only up by 1 or 2, but they've put 7 points on his speed, and that's on a winger. That's good. That's a very important boost. So that's great news. They've also put 6 on his stamina, and they put 6 on his physical contact, which is not the most important one, but it does make a difference in eFootball these days. Since the big update, physical contact is important. So it's an interesting boost that he's got. Not a massive one, but certainly with the speed especially, that is a very welcome boost that they've given us there, getting that speed up to the mid-80s. He's very tidy on the ball. Passing is kind of all right for a winger. Finishing's decent. Attacking awareness, it'd be nice if we could get that one higher. I'm not sure if we can though. Acceleration is great, even if the speed's not amazing, but that speed has been boosted, like I say. So he's got decent pace on the whole. Balance is good. Not brilliant stamina, so yeah, he's not quite on the level of Olise, but it's still a pretty tidy card. This could be pretty usable. If you've not got a good version of Gnabry, it's a good one. And if you like the roaming flank playing style, that could make it a very nice version of Gnabry for you. And he has a pretty good selection of skills as well. So could be shuffle the points around at all. I mean, he could nick one off dribbling easily. I wouldn't like to go lower than that. You dip below 90 on ball control. I mean, you could do if you really wanted to beef him up elsewhere. I'm looking at that attacking awareness and the low pass. We'd only be able to get one of those up to the 80 mark as it is. I think most people would probably consider that. Well, I don't know. I would say attacking awareness is more important personally. But passing does matter. I don't know. It's annoying. You're just so close to being able to get to the 80 mark, but it doesn't really make a lot of difference. I mean, you can nick a couple more dribbling, just accept his ball control being a bit lower than 90. Then you get passing to 80, the attacking awareness at 80, got 3 points left. One more on speed. There's a few things you could do. I mean, you could take one off dexterity, except the attacking awareness going below 80, and then you can get that speed up from 86 to 88. That probably is worth doing, actually. Yeah, that may well be worth doing, to be honest. On a winger, speed is important. So yeah, you could just slightly shuffle the points around a little bit, just to kind of round them out and get, build him the way you want him. But it's a pretty tidy card. This is an inverted wing coming off the left flank onto his right foot. He's got long range curler. Maybe he's giving through passing. I see the skills are a bit messed up on eFootball, so it's a good thing we looked at them on in the game before we came over here. But yeah, through passing I think he would need, but he's got good selection skills otherwise. And he's a pretty tidy wing off the left wing. Could you make him a right winger? I mean, he's not got pinpoint crossing, I don't think. Let's just quickly check back on in the game. Hang on. Where is he? Yeah, he's not got pinpoint crossing, so are you going to get his crossing, his lofted pass high enough to make him a right winger who can put crosses in? I'm not so sure. Not really. You can maybe get away with it if you get him pinpoint crossing. I'm not sure it'd be worth doing it. His lofted pass only going up to 80 there, with his passing up to 9, so I'm not sure he'd be too great as a right winger. Through the middle though, as a number 10, I mean, similar issue, but the low pass at 84 is workable. You could get away with him as an attacking mid, to be honest. Would I change much more from that build? Probably not. I'll probably leave him around about there. Yeah, I think as an attacking mid, you can get away with him. He would need through passing. He really would need through passing. But if you position train him as an attacking mid or an SS, through the middle, decent pace, tidy on the ball. Passing is borderline for me, but you could get away with it. For a lot of people, that 84 low pass would be okay. So that could be an option for you as an attacking mid or maybe an SS behind the attack. Centre forward, I don't think we're going to be able to make him a good centre forward. Let's just see what auto allocation says. Bit iffy. Can we try and just get the dexterity up a little bit? Ish. I don't know. You can get his awareness for finishing up to mid-80s. Decent on the ball for a centre forward. Speed's not brilliant. Acceleration is, though, and balance. Could be an option if you really want a Gnabry card to play up front, give him first time shot. That could be an option, but yeah, I think all things considered, you got a few options with this guy, but ultimately left wing as an inverted winger. We have had slightly better versions of him in the past statistically, but not a massive difference between the better versions and this one. It is a good version. Roaming flanks makes him a little bit different to previous versions as well, so yeah, you might have a better version, but it could be an interesting version. And on the whole, maybe not on the level of Olise, but as an inverted winger coming off the left wing, certainly if you like the roaming playing style, could be a pretty solid card. And the last card in this pack is Harry Kane. So Of course, he's got his face scan. He is a deep line forward. He has been for a while now. It's not everyone's cup of tea. He's on D form actually this week. That's the first time I've seen him on poor form for a while now. Unwavering form, of course, and he's got the skills you'd expect from Harry Kane. Heading, accurate finishing, first time shot, long range curler. I think he deserves to have through passing, to be honest, but yeah, he's got a good searching skills there though for Harry Kane. Let's jump over to eFootball Hub. How good is this version of Kane? It is pretty good. So he might not have through passing, but his passing attributes are pretty nice. They've not put any points on passing, so at level 1 with the game plan boost, you get an 80 low, 80 lofted. I was still thinking about giving him through passing, to be honest. Oh, I see the scores are wrong again on the eFootball Hub. But yeah, through passing, maybe his one-touch pass as well, because he's a deep line forward. A deep line forward will be dropping deep, getting involved in the build-up. Yes, the passing attributes are good, but if you want to really make the most of his passing ability and his playing style, I think through passing would really be worthwhile. He's tidy enough on the ball. Awareness and finishing are fantastic. Decent pace, interesting. So this is a good version of Kane on the whole, but again, it's one of these ones that he's had an interesting boost. If you look at previous versions of Kane, this version is in terms of the overall ability, the overall rating, it's one of the better versions of Kane. I don't think there are any Player of the Week cards without the booster active that are better than this one. There are two with a booster that are probably the best Player of the Week versions of Kane. Without the booster active, this one's slightly better, but when you activate the booster on those two versions, they go one higher. So technically slightly better, but around about the same level. So compared to all the Player of the Week cards, this is up there with as a version of Kane as one of the better ones. And in terms of the trainables, the most recent Showtime version of Kane is the best version we've had of him. But the older Showtime card and the one that was in a Ballon d'Or pack quite recently, around about the same level as this one. Just the stats kind of shuffled around slightly. It just depends on where you'd prioritize different attributes and stuff and what kind of profile you'd like, because like I say, is another one that's had an interesting boost. If you look at his GP card, what they've done, there's some attributes they've taken a few points away. They've taken a few points off his attacking awareness, his finishing's down a bit as well, and his heading, and his kicking power. I think 4 points off his kicking power compared to his GP card. It's very annoying they've done it on a highlight card, but as you can see there, he's looking a bit quicker than he normally is, and that's because they've increased his speed by 9, his acceleration by 10 from his GP card. So yeah, they're obviously doing some interesting things with these highlight cards, and like, a lot of them are getting a boost to their pace for whatever reason. I don't know if they're just doing that just to make the cards more appealing. I guess that's obviously what they're doing, but yeah, I imagine that'll work with a lot of people, because yes, we've lost a few points in some areas, but awareness and finishing doesn't matter. They're still high enough. 95 awareness, 94 finishing. You can take some points off those. It's not going to do any harm. And if that's what you need to do to get the pace up, I think most people would take that. I think it's a very interesting looking version of Kane. He's not quick now, obviously, but he's a lot quicker. He's still got decent kicking power. Physical strength, balance isn't brilliant, but it could be worse on a big physical guy. I don't think you can ask for too much more. Stamina's okay, but yeah, like I say, the awareness and finishing are fantastic. He's tied enough on the ball. He's got nice passing for a striker. Decent at set pieces. Decent heading as well. It's pretty much what you'd expect for a Kane card. Just they've given him a boost to his pace, really. I think for a lot of people, the pace is what holds Kane back a lot. So I think for a lot of people, this could be one of the most appealing versions of Kane that we've had. We have had one or two very interesting looking ones in Player of the Week. Sometimes it's just the playing style. I've got a very old Tottenham version of Kane that's got the goal poacher playing style. And I was lucky enough to get one from the Champions League Player of the Week Encore pack, whatever you call it. There was a fox in the box. That's a really nice version. I think there have been 2 Player of the Week fox in the boxes, at least, maybe even 3. If it's the playing style alone, then you might prefer a version that's not as high rated as this, but got a better playing style for you. Deep line forward is not the playing style for me. I think a lot of people feel the same way, but if that playing style does work for you, like I say, it's a really nice profile they're giving him here. He's had a solid boost, but it's really, even though I've taken a few points away from a few areas, pushing his speed and acceleration up quite a bit makes this a very interesting card. And I think for a lot of people, this could be one of the better versions of Kane that there's been. It's not the best one, obviously. They've had the Showtime as well, and 2 others around the same level, but aside from the playing style, yeah, this is a very good looking version of Kane. I would give him through passing at least, but looking at all the attributes, especially the pace boost, really solid version of Kane. It's a good, really good centre forward card, that. So there is your Bayern pack. You've got a possession manager, you've got a very good striker, albeit deep line forward might not be the playing style for a lot of people. You've got a very good Olise card. You've got a solid Pavlović. Good version of Davies, but he's still got the same profile he normally does on the whole. All pace, not a lot of defending abilities. He's got the weaknesses he normally does, but it is a good version of him. You've got a good, solid version of Upamecano. It's a very good centre-back. Goretzka, solid midfielder, could be a good defensive mid or even a sneaky centre-back. That's probably the dark horse out of all these cards that a lot of people might not notice. I think Goretzka could be a potentially really useful card for a lot of people. Neuer, it's just a Neuer card. Yes, he's a good goalie, but how many people actually need a good Neuer card? Ito, solid centre-back. Palhinha, could be a solid centre-back for a lot of people. Sneaky centre-back even, maybe. Guerreiro, whatever position you play Guerreiro in, he's got a few weaknesses, but I think certainly in the middle as a DMF or CMF could be a really nice card for a lot of people. And then Gnabry might be the same level as Olise, but I think he still could be a pretty tidy left winger for a lot of people. So yeah, I think it's one of the better club packs that we've had out of all these packs we've had this latest batch. I'm not going to tell you whether you should spend your coins on it because only you can answer that. I say this every time. I'm not going to tell anyone you should get this pack or you should not get this pack. Only you can decide that. It depends what players you've got in your squad, how many of these cards they're actually going to get in your team, how much value are you going to get out of it, do you use a possession playing style? It's entirely down to you how much value you're going to get from this pack, but hopefully all my ramblings in this video have helped you to make that decision. I think, like I said, I do think it's one of the better club packs, but yeah, it's just down to you. But there's certainly quite a few cards in here that are very decent looking. And like I say, I will look at the other Bayern cards that have been added to the game now as well. So we'll start with the one in the point store. And that is Sacha Boey. So he's got a face scan, he's got some really cool hair. Attacking fullback, right back, inconsistent form, bit of a shame. I don't know what Bayern's result was last weekend, but it seems like I've got a few players off form. But yeah, inconsistent form. Skill-wise, pretty good selection. So going forward, along when shooting, nice bonus. I'm not sure how useful that's going to be in the fullback, but one-touch pass, good. Pinpoint crossing, great. Defensively, interception side, tackle-back clearance. So got a pretty good selection of skills there for a fullback. Maybe his man marking blocker would help. But yeah, let's jump over to eFootball Hub. How good is this Sacha Boey card? So really, it's just one of these cards where it's not dissimilar to Alphonso Davies. He's great athletically. He's got crazy pace. You see there on the right, crazy stamina as well, but lacking in awareness, engagement defensively. Not brilliant on the ball. So if you're like an attacking fullback and you're really concerned about the athleticism more than anything else, maybe the auto allocation works for you. But you know what I'm going to do. It does not work for me. He's got way more pace than he needs, and he's not good enough in some other areas. This is one of those cards where there's a bit of an imbalance. You know, if you go right down here on lower body all the way down to 4, you've still got plenty of speed, you've got plenty of stamina. Kicking power only 70 though. Kicking power does help. I don't like when kicking power is low on any player, especially on attacking players, but even on a fullback I'd like a bit more kicking power, but we've got to free some points out to make him stronger in other areas. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll leave 4 on aerial for now. Defending, I can't really be going lower on defending. Dexterity, we can definitely lose some from there. Attacking awareness is not a big loss in attacking fullback for me. I actually find that a hindrance at times. If the attacking awareness is very high on an attacking fullback, they just go bombing forward all the time and they can get caught out positionally. Right, so I freed up 28 points. Let's make him better on the ball. So yeah, you could do that. I mean, to be honest, could do with a bit more defensive ability. Can we get his defensive awareness to 80? No, not quite. You can nick 3 off aerial, actually. Let's do it that way. I think I would probably be doing something like that. So it's still good enough down the right-hand side. Not quite as strong physically, but it's not a big difference. But we've got the defensives up a bit. He's looking a lot stronger defensively. It's more comfortable on the ball now. Still not brilliant. That tight possession, you will notice that at times. I always say at tight possession, there will be situations where you notice that. You don't want to be coming up short when you're holding onto the ball under pressure, especially in defensive areas. Passing is not brilliant, but we've improved that a bit. He does have one-touch passing, pinpoint crossing, so yeah, on the whole, yeah, he's all right. We've not had many versions of Boey before. We've had, I think, just one. I see one Champions League Player of the Week card of his, and it's pretty similar to this one on the whole, to be honest. The main difference is the Player of the Week one has more physical contact, but less stamina than this one. Pretty similar on the whole. From his GP card, most of the attributes up by 2 or 3 from his GP card. Physical contacts up by 5. Not a massive boost on the whole. It's just a kind of solid version of Boey, really. Yeah, he's an okay right back. He's got a solid selection of skills. Maybe could do with adding 1 or 2, like I say, man marking, blocker, maybes. But yeah, solid one. If you like your right backs to just be strong athletically, auto allocation would be brilliant for you. I would kind of balance out the attributes like that. I think that's better. It's not amazing. He's got 1 or 2 weaknesses. He's one where, for me, I can't see myself keeping hold of him. I don't see myself ever really using him. We don't get a German league challenge. Is he going to get my squad for divisions anytime soon? No, never. He's just not really on the level of the right backs I've got. If you've got legend right backs, if you've got Belletti, or Cafu, players like that, you're never going to put this guy in your team realistically. So yeah, I don't think it's a brilliant card, but certainly if you ever rock a Bayern squad, if you like this guy for any other reason, or a France squad in the national team challenge, he could certainly do a job for you. He's not a bad card. I just think with 1 or 2 weaknesses and well, I mean, yeah, he's all right, I guess, to be fair. If you discount the tight possession, he's okay on the whole. Certainly with the auto allocation, if that works for you, if those are the strengths that you're looking for. It's got insane pace and stamina. So there are a lot of qualities to this guy. It's plenty to be said for him, but yeah, on the whole, it's not the most exciting card. I think there are probably quite a few people who won't be keeping hold of this guy if they pick him up. Which, let's be honest, we're all going to, because he's the only thing we've got available to spend our points on. But yeah, he's not a bad card at all, and a fair few people probably will be picking him up and getting some use out of him. Certainly, if you've not been playing the game for too long and you need more right back options, he's certainly a solid one. He's just not an amazing one. And finally, we have more Bayern cards. We have some position change cards. Yay! So we've got centre-back Musiala, centre-back Olise, left wing Kimmich, and centre-forward Kim. And let's have a look at these cards and see if they're any good. So we'll start with one of the centre-backs. We'll start with Jamal Musiala. So yeah, he's obviously a centre-back. He's got the build-up playing style. Of course, he's got a face scan. What have they done with his skills? So defensively, okay, so they get him man marking, insertion, blocker, slide, acrobatic, super sub as well. You got a super sub centre back, nice. Just aerial superiority is lacking, really. He's got most of the defensive skills he needs for a centre back. Is he any good though? That's the question. Let's have a look. So, all fully trained up. Let's have a look. Interesting. So, as you'd probably expect, he's got an interesting profile as a centre back. Defensive attributes, borderline. Certainly the awareness is good, the aggression's fantastic. Engagement and tackling, they're just about okay, to be honest. On the ball, he's fantastic for a centre-back, as you'd probably expect. Down the right, good pace for a centre-back. Jumping, great. There's weakness number 1, though. Physical contact, 81. That is not strong enough. And then stamina, 73. He's going to get tired. So, yeah, as you'd expect, you've got some strengths there. It's a very interesting option to have as a centre-back, but the physical strength and stamina do let them down, especially that physical contact. It's so important on a centre-back, I always say it. Height, 6 foot, so he's not the tallest for a centre-back. He does have decent jumping. What's his reach? 272. Yeah, he's not got a great reach on him. So he really needs aerial superiority to help him to win those headers. Then his fighting spirit as well, especially with low stamina. Could you do anything to improve his physical strength? Not a lot. You can't really afford to spare any points on defending because you don't want the engagement and tackling going any lower. You could certainly nick some points from his pace. He doesn't need all that pace. If you take all of the points off his pace, you can go too high on physical contact, but then you've lost a bit of stamina as well. Yikes. Yeah, I think that's the problem with this guy. Whatever you do, you're going to be lacking now as either physical strength or stamina or both. And that does kind of kill it for me as a centre-back card. It's a bit of a shame because it could have been a really fun one, but you know, people complain a lot about these cards, saying that they're just not usable, and I get that, and I do kind of agree, but if these cards were going to be, you know, if you're going to go with a Musiala card as a centre-back that's as good as, you know, a lot of the kind of player of the week ones and a real, you know, good enough option to go in our team, then yeah, I don't know. I can't see them doing that. I think it's tricky. There's kind of it's kind of a borderline there. They want to make them good enough that it's kind of worth us picking them up and using them and having a bit of fun with them, but not so good that they're, you know, that they're an alternative to a lot of the paid cards. But yeah, I think this could be a fun one as a centre back if you just want to have a laugh, especially against the AI. If you're just going to use them against the AI, maybe it could be a fun one to have. Certainly, be interesting having Musiala's player ID being quite smooth on the ball as a centre back. But yeah, like I say, some strength there. Certainly very nice in some areas for a centre back. Just about okay down the middle. Just the physical strength and stamina, one or both of those is always going to be a bit on the low side as a centre back, unfortunately, and you would need to give him around superiority. So yeah, certainly good enough to have a bit of fun against AI, but using him online, yeah, I'm not so sure. But one other thing that is worth considering with these cards that you can position train them. They've only got one position. They're none semi-proficient, but you can always position train a player, an outfield player at least, for adjacent positions to their registered position. So in the case of a centre back, that means you can make him a defensive mid or a fullback. So could you make Musiala a right back? I mean, straight away, that stamina is going to be an issue. Let's just see what auto allocation tells us. So again, you've got loads of qualities there on a right back, to be fair. I mean, he's really good on the ball. You could take all those points off there. Give him more speed. To be honest, yeah. I mean, to be honest, as a right back, he looks really nice until you see the stamina. That's the letdown. I mean, if you're going to use this guy as a right back and just have him coming off the bench for like the last 10-20 minutes just to shore things up, could be an option for you. If you were going to start the game with this guy at right back, you're going to probably sub him off by half time because you'll be knackered. He's got poor stamina. But like I say, there are qualities there. You can get his pace to a decent level. He's got a bit of physical strength, good balance. Defensively, he's strong for a fullback. On the ball, he's fantastic for a fullback. Low pass is good for a fullback. Love to pass isn't great, so he's not going to be a fullback. He's going to be whipping crosses in when he gets forward. You're going to be relying on his low passing, but he does. Does he still have through passing? I don't know if these skills are screwed up. Let's just jump back to the game briefly. Have you got through passing? Oh, he's never got through passing. That's the one he's always missing as an attacking mid. Yeah, so we've not got through passing, but one-touch passes there. Yeah, if you discount the stamina, as a right back, if you've got the position trainers, if you can spare the position trainers, and again, you might need 1,000 to get him right back twice. You never know with position trainers because they're awful. But as a right back, coming off the bench late in the game, he could be a decent option. He's got some good defensive skills there, and he's going to be very nice on the ball. So, yeah, as a right back, I think as a substitute right back, if you really need a substitute right back, he could be an option for you. And then defensive midfield, you could also position train with defensive mid. Is that going to be a similar situation? It is. Defensive mid, stamina 74. Yeah, good luck with that. Again, you could afford to nick those points away from there. Even from there, maybe. I like a bit more on passing, but we've got to get that stamina up. Should we just nick a few up? Okay, so let's just assume he's going to be in a double pivot, and there's going to be someone next to him doing some of the defensive work for him. Okay, we can get the stamina back up to 81. Yay. Yeah, same situation really. In some kind of double pivot as kind of an all-rounder DMF. As a sub, coming off the bench late in the game, could definitely do a job. He's got good defensive skills. He's got one-touch pass. He would need through passing. But yeah, as a defensive mid, as a sub to come on second half, shoring things up a bit, fresh legs for the last 20 minutes, could be an option. So yeah, centre back, maybe for some fun against the AI, yeah, sure. He's got some qualities for sure. Just the physical strength and stamina really screw him up a bit as a centre back. And it's the stamina again as a defensive mid or a right back. But if you did position train him in defensive mid, there's an option to come off the bench or to start him and just make sure you sub him off when he gets tired by about the hour mark or even earlier. But especially as a right back, I think as a right back especially, if you wanted an option to come off the bench as a right back, that's where I think you get the most value out of him, because as a right back, you discount the stamina, could be a really nice right back. It's just that stamina screws him up. But if you sub him off early enough in the game, or if you're going to bring him off the bench late in the game, as a right back, if you can spare the position trainers, could be a nice option. So yeah, I'm not sure many people are going to want to use their position trainers on cards like these, but you do have the option. If you've got a load of position trainers and nothing to use them on, maybe it's worth doing. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be the same case for most of these cards. Could be a bit of fun, but I'm not sure many people are going to be keeping hold of them. But you've got one or two options if you did want to keep hold of him for sure. And now let's look at our other centre-back, Michael Olise, the destroyer centre-back. Of course, he's got his face cam, we know this. Unwavering form, he's a lefty. What they've done skill-wise on this particular centre-back. So we've been given man marking, interception, blocker, aerial, sliding, acrobatic clearance. Good. Okay, so we're only really lacking heading and fighting spirit. We've got hill trick, through passing, and outside curler still, and double touch if you want to start doing skill moves as a centre-back. But yeah, let's jump over to eFootball Hub and let's find out if this is going to be a similar situation to Musiala. So first things first, he does not have the shooting booster. That is an error on eFootball Hub. But when you max him out and get more trained up, yeah, it's similar to Musiala. He's got lots of qualities there. Obviously the tackling is good at 90, aggression 99. Physical contact this time is good, and the stamina is passable, but awareness 84, engagement 82. Nah, that's your problem with this guy as a centre-back. If you think you can get away with those attributes being as low as that, then great. He's got loads of qualities there, so it could be a really nice centre-back for you. Again, he's only about 6 foot tall. He does have aerial this time, but 82 for jumping, so that jumping reach 267 is not good. He's going to get found out against big, tall strikers. and he's going to get found out in general with the engagement and the awareness being as low as they are, unfortunately. Could you get many higher? Not really. You could nick one off aerial maybes. I mean, if you went all the way down to 85 physical contact, that lets you go one higher on defending. You'd have to nick. I mean, you could take all the speed away and go another one on defending. And you've got 2 left, put it back on speed. Maybe. Not sure. Nah, I don't know. Nice on the ball for a centre-back. The defence is there. Yes, you've got really good tackling and amazing aggression, but even scrimping a few points off his physical contact there. Awareness 86, engagement 84. I mean, if you don't mind the fact he's terrible in the air, you could get away with him. I think he's probably a bit more usable than Musiala, to be honest. But I don't know, it's a bit of a stretch. Probably some people, I mean, it's kind of similar to Tammy Abraham, that centre-back Tammy Abraham card that we got. I've used that one against the AI. You can get away with them against the AI. It's just when you're using these guys online, and if your opponent's got even half decent strikers, you're going to have issues. So there might be people, if you've not got that many good centre-back options, you might look at this guy and think, you know what, he could do a job. Certainly if you're new to the game, he could get you by for a bit. But I think if you've been playing the game for any amount of time and you've got good centre-back options, I just can't see this guy getting into your squad. So again, could be a fun one to have in your team if you're just playing against the AI. Certainly for a centre-back, he'll be very nice on the ball, but he is going to be a little bit weak in one or two areas, unfortunately. And as far as being competitive online, I don't think he's really going to come into many people's thoughts. But again, you can position train him. Same with Musiala. You could make him a defensive mid or a left-back. So how is he going to stack up as a defensive mid or left-back? We'll start as a left-back. Again, stamina's a bit of an issue. Can we nick some points from over here? Yep. You actually need a few points on this guy's passing. That's a bit of a shame. How good can we get his speed? We can get it up to 10. Could we nick some defending? If you're going to accept that he's a very attacking fullback, which you are going to have to, aren't you? That's about as good as you can get him. Yeah, iffy. I mean, you can certainly get his pace good enough, speed up to 90. Physical's good for a fullback. Have they got points on physical? No. Balance is decent. Stamina 85. That's a bit on the low side. He's going to get tired. Defensively, yes, the tackling's in the 80s is very aggressive. Awareness engagement, they could be lower. They could be worse. And then technically down here, he's kind of okay-ish on the whole. Tight possession's a bit dodgy, but I think with his player ID, he's going to feel nice enough on the ball. I think he's more usable as a left-back than a centre-back. Again, though, how many position trainers have you got? Have you got loads of position trainers sitting around? Have you got no other players to use them on? And if you really want to use this guy as a left back, maybe you could put the position trainers on and make him a left back, and he could be an option. Again, maybe just to bring him off the bench late in the game, fresh legs. Could do a job. He's got the defensive skills for sure. He's going to feel nice on the ball. He could be an option as a left back. I think he's more usable as a left back than a centre back for sure. So yeah, if you can spare the position trainers, and if you think it'd be depending on what options you've got, a left back, maybe just for your buying squad, it could be an option for you for sure. Better left back than centre back, and then defensive mid. Where would you get the points? I mean, you're going to lose some stamina. Nick a couple of dexterity. Yeah, I don't think defensive mid's really going to work. I don't think he's going to be good enough for passing. He's not that strong defensively, the awareness and engagement. Lacking stamina. You can't really afford enough points from other areas to beef him up where he needs to be beefed up. So, yeah, like Musiala, I think ultimately there's a card that more than likely people are only going to look at as one worth keeping if you're just going to use him against the AI. And he could be fun against the AI. I'll leave him on the auto allocation as a centre-back. He could be a fun one to use at centre-back against the AI. You can get away with him against the AI, I think, to a great extent. Online, if you're being competitive, big stretch. He's not going to be great in the air. And those two, the awareness and the engagement defensive attributes are a bit on the low side. So, yeah, plenty of qualities like Musiala, but as a centre-back, bit of a stretch. Defensive mid, for me, not worth it at all. If you can spare the position trainers as a left-back, could be a pretty decent option. If you start the game, you'll need to be subbed off probably by the hour mark because you will get tired. Otherwise, as a substitute option, fresh legs at left back, yeah, maybe. He's got good skills for a left back, and he could make him a decent option. It's just really the stamina more than anything. So, yeah, I think as a fullback, he's a better option than Musiala. I think both of them may need to be fun against AI, but I think Olise, the one way you could use either of these two centre-back cards online and actually get some use out of them would be Olise as a left-back for me. He could do a job for you. It's a bit of a stretch, but he could do a job if you can spare the position trainers. So, yeah, could be a usable left back for you. But on the whole, yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, both these cards. I think it's pretty much par for the course for most of these position change cards so far. They're just kind of a bit of fun, but probably not entirely usable online. But like I say, Olise as a left back, yeah, maybe. And our next position change is Joshua Kimmich, who is now a prolific winger, left wing forward. Interesting. Of course, he's got a face scan. Unwavering form. What's they done skill-wise? Double touch, flip-flap, no soul control. If you gave him soul control, he'd have the ball roll double touch. Long-range curler, long-range shooting, one-touch pass through by the pin across. He's got a pretty good selection of skills for a left winger. Still got sliding tackle, cool. Let's jump over to eFootball Hub. Is this going to be a half-decent Kimmich left wing card? Not brilliant. So on a left winger, you need a bit of speed, and he does not have a bit of speed. He is good in some areas, of course, and dribbling as well. Oh dear, not great at dribbling. So some qualities there. The passing's good for a wide man. Finishing's good. Attacking wise a bit on the low side. Dribbling's a bit low. Speed's a bit low. Can we do much with him? Not a lot. There aren't a lot of points to play with here. The only area where we're really into 2 points per increase are dribbling and dexterity. The attacking wise is not brilliant already. The dribbling's not brilliant. I'm not sure he can really do a lot with his Kimmich card, to be honest. You can nick a few of shooting and still be at 80. You could take both of passing. Okay, that's 5 points. Okay, you can get his speed up to 80. Yay. Yeah, that's about what you can do, really. And I'll just stick one back on shooting, I think. Could it be usable? I've tried mine against the AI a bit. He kind of feels alright, but again, against the AI, yeah, could be fine. He's got the skills. If you're just playing against the AI, you can certainly do some damage with him. He's got some end product. He doesn't feel too bad on the ball. His dribbling doesn't feel as bad as 75, to be honest. He's probably because he's got good acceleration and balance. He's quite nimble, but yeah, I think again, you're basically looking at a card that's got a lot of quality. He's got some end product, but without having more speed and more dribbling, I don't see how anyone getting any great value out of this guy playing online. Most decent right backs will just gobble him up. He's not gonna have too much joy going online with this guy as a left winger. But again, against the AI, if you've got the squad space, he could be a fun one for whatever reason. If you like Kimmich, you just want to have a laugh. Kimmich as a left winger against the AI could be effective for you. Like I say, he's got some good skills. And so a lot of these attributes are pretty good. It's just the speed and dribbling are pretty important on a winger, and that they let him down. I think online you're going to really notice those. And in terms of other positions, the only other positions you could train him for left mid would be the same situation really. Striker or SS, let's just see what auto allocation tells us. Not really. You can get the finishing to a decent level, but attacking where 78, not on a centre forward, nowhere near good enough, and he's not got a great deal of pace. So again, there's qualities there, but is it worth using the position trainers? I don't think so. As an SS, as an SS, he could be decent. He's got the passing, he's tidy on the ball. Attacking where it's not quite so important. Passing is reasonable, the finishing is pretty decent. Acceleration and balance are great. Again, is it worth the position trainers? I think as an SS, you can certainly allow him to have the lack of pace and dribbling there, so he'd be better suited to playing SS just behind the attack, in my opinion. It's just whether it's worth using the position trainers. Again, like I said with Musiala and Olise, if you've got like 200 position trainers lying around, then you've got no other players you want to use them on. You just need a use for them. Maybe you could turn this guy into a decent SS. I think he'd certainly be pretty decent there. He could do a job and be quite effective, even online. Not amazing, but decent. But how many people are going to have the position trainers to spare and really want to do that? I don't think too many would. So yeah, could do a job for you as a left winger, primarily against the AI. If you wanted to spare if you're willing and able to spare the position trainers as an SS against the AI, and maybe even online could be a tidy one. But how many people are going to want to do that? Not many. So yeah, another one where could be fun against AI, but in terms of getting any real value out of him playing online, yeah, not so sure. And finally, we have Big Kim, the fox in the box, centre forward. So he has his face scan, of course. He has unwavering form. Skill-wise, what they've done. He's already got heading and aerial, and now we've got long-range curler, long-range shooting, acrobatic finishing, first-time shot, and fighting spirit. So you've got a pretty much complete set of skills for a fox in the box, to be honest. So the skills are there. Is the ability there? Let's jump over to eFootball. But I think this is the one card at the pack that most people have looked at and thought he might be the usable one. And he kind of is, to be honest. He's obviously not amazing. Again, it's one of these ones that if you've been playing the game any length of time, you've got a decent enough selection of strikers. He's probably not going to be getting in the team anytime soon, but he could be worse. You know, on the ball for a Fox, I mean, clearly with the dribbling as low as it is, the tight possession as low as it is, you're not going to want to do too much on the ball with this guy. If you get the ball with him, just get rid of it, shoot or pass, albeit his passing sucks. So, yeah. Be very careful on the ball with him, but you can at least control the ball in the first instance. And when it comes to just getting the ball and finishing, taking chances, decent ball control. If you keep it simple and just literally try and take chances with this guy, don't start trying to dribble with him or play intricate passes. The ball control's there, the finishing's there, the heading, jumping's only 81, it's not too high. Decent pace for a Fox in the box, decent kicking power. The attacking where really is the one letdown, to be honest. On a Fox in the box centre forward 82, that's a bit too low. So, can we get that any higher? Where can we spare the points? I mean, there's no that 1 point on passing because that can make much difference. We can take all the points off dribbling. If you accept the fact that he's not going to be great on the ball, still over 80 for ball control. Let's take all those points off dribbling. Do we need all those points on the lower body on the Fox? No. Bit of a shame to lose the kicking power especially, but we've got to get that attacking awareness up. You could probably nick one off finishing, to be honest. I'll give you a couple of points. Maybe just stick them on goalkeeper one, get his jumping up. Yeah, that might be worth doing. What's his reach vertically? 274. He's not got amazing jumping height, but got pretty good physical strength and aerial superiority. He's going to be fairly strong in the air. The pace is alright for a Fox in the box. We've lost a bit of speed and kicking power, but they're both still okay, the speed and kicking power. Stamina sucks. You might need to put counter target on him, keep him from getting too tired. Otherwise, sub him off by probably about the hour mark. Maybe use him as a sub. But the awareness, we got the awareness up to 85. The finishing, we nicked one off there, but still 88. Again, I think this is a card where, for the most part, it's really just going to be a fun one to use against the AI. I've used mine against the AI, and he is quite decent. He is horrible on the ball, but as long as you don't start trying to twist and turn and do anything too intricate with him, he can at least get the ball under control in the first place. And he can finish. When I've used mine a couple of times against the AI, he's been decent. You know, he is decent in the air, and he can finish. So, yeah, is he one that you're going to use online? Have any joy with online? I'm sure some people will say he's been great online, scored 1,000 headers for him. You always get people saying that with these kinds of cards, but for most people, I'm not sure it's quite on that level. But I think out of all these cards, certainly right out of the box, you do have a card that's probably the most usable out of all these four. He could do a job for you if you're going to be putting crosses in and you want a big physical guy up front with a Fox in the box playing style, with the bonus of the fact that he's quite good defensively. Yeah, he could do a job for a lot of people, but I'm not going to tell you this is a great card, because it's not a great card. He's obviously lacking on the ball. He's got poor passing in the awareness you could do with being that high. We've had to scrimp a load of points to get it up, even up to 85. So, yeah, and the stamina's poor and the balance is poor. So you're always going to have weaknesses with these cards, but with the strengths he does have, like I say, he's felt pretty decent against the AI for me. Could be a fun one. Certainly against the AI could do a job. Online, the most usable out of the lot. He could definitely do a job for you. If you put in a lot of crosses in, and you want a Fox in the box to be getting on the end of crosses, he could definitely do a job online, but he's still not going to be amazing. So, yeah, the pick of the four cards for me, but still, he's not a brilliant one. Just a fun one who could get on the end of some crosses for you and do a job. So there's your position change Bayern cards. Like I said, I think Kim's the pick of the four. Could be a half decent striker option if you're quite new to the game. If you like that type of big physical striker, could do a job for you. And even if you've been playing the game for a while, he might be worth keeping hold of. Maybe if you do a Rocket Bayern squad at any point, could be an option for you. The others, I still think those could be usable to some extent. You know, Kimmich on the left, if you don't mind the fact he's slow, he could do a job. He's got the end product. Certainly, if you've got a lot of position trainers knocking around and you want to use the position trainers to make him an SS, he could be pretty tidy at SS, to be fair. And then Olise and Musiala, centre-backs, they've got serious drawbacks. Having a bit of fun against the AI, yeah, sure. Online, as centre-backs, I think the weaknesses for both of those guys hold them back too much for me. But if you're going to position train them as full-backs, you could have decent full-back options, certainly as substitutes to come off the bench. You know, the stamina is the main issue really with both these guys as a full-back. But I do think as a full-back, they could be half-decent ones. But again, do you have the position trainers to spare? That's up to you. But if you do have the position trainers, I think with all these guys, maybe not with Kim, you don't need to position train him, but certainly with these three, with the position trainers, if you got them to spare, you could find you got a half decent option there, at least off the bench. And Kim, like I say, I think it's a pick of the bunch. Big physical guy up front, could get a few goals for you, but yeah, I think just being completely honest, most people, for most people, these cards, they're going to get released. You're not going to get a lot of value out of them in the long term. But I do think for just a bit of fun, considering they are free, you've got to keep in mind they're free. We're not having to spend anything on them. For freebies, they are at least a bit of fun. Can't complain. But yeah, I'm still waiting for my Harry Maguire centre forward card. So there are all your new Bayern cards. You've got your crazy position change cards. You've got your Sacha Boey in the point store. And then you've got your Bayern pack, of course. I think the Bayern pack's pretty decent, to be honest. It's not a bad one of the better ones that we've had, but it's down to you whether it's worth spending all those coins on it. For some people, certainly it could be. There's some decent cards in there, but hopefully all my ramblings in this video have helped you to make your decision about whether any of these cards are worth spending coins on or keeping hold of. Thank you for watching. As always, do really appreciate it. There'll be 1 or 2 more videos coming up on the channel over the next few days, and then obviously the next Player of the Week packs on Thursday. So enjoy the rest of your weekends, and thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you soon.